A poetic prescription for life. Walt Whitman's line, "Keep your face always toward the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you," is a metaphorical guide to optimism, resilience, and purposeful living. Like much of Whitman's work, the quote brims with transcendental ideals, where the natural world becomes both teacher and symbol, and the human spirit is elevated through conscious attention to light and goodness. At first glance, the quote reads like a simple instruction to maintain a positive attitude. But upon closer inspection, it is layered with meaning, about mindset, perception, the handling of adversity, and the intentional act of orienting oneself toward growth and hope. In this essay, we will explore these dimensions in detail, drawing from literature, psychology, philosophy, and real-world examples to demonstrate how Whitman's wisdom remains both timeless and urgently relevant. Walt Whitman and the spirit of transcendentalism. Who was Walt Whitman? Walt Whitman, 1819–1892, was an American poet, essayist, and journalist, best known for his monumental work, Leaves of Grass. A pioneering figure in American literature, Whitman championed individuality, democracy, and the beauty of nature. He was deeply influenced by transcendentalism, a philosophical movement that emphasized the inherent goodness of people and nature, self-reliance, and spiritual insight beyond empirical observation. The philosophical underpinnings of the quote. Transcendentalists like Whitman believed that nature was a pathway to understanding truth. The sun in Whitman's quote is not just the literal sun, but a metaphor for truth, hope, purpose, and positivity. The shadows represent the darker aspects of life: fear, regret, sorrow, and doubt. Whitman's line instructs the reader to align with what gives light and life, and by doing so, the dark will recede behind. Sunshine as a metaphor. Sunlight and symbolism. Throughout literature and religion, sunlight has symbolized clarity, knowledge, warmth, vitality, and divine presence. From the Greek god Apollo to Renaissance paintings of heavenly light, sunshine is almost always synonymous with goodness. In psychological terms, people experiencing sunny dispositions are typically optimistic and emotionally resilient. Studies in positive psychology show that individuals who orient toward the sunshine enjoy better mental health outcomes and recover more swiftly from adversity. Whitman's metaphor encapsulates this truth. Where our attention goes, our energy flows. Facing the sun is choosing to see possibilities rather than limitations. Understanding shadows. What are shadows? Shadows in Whitman's quote are the inevitable difficulties and emotional burdens we carry. Anxiety, grief, trauma, failure, shame. They are the parts of life we cannot avoid, but we can choose whether we let them obscure our vision or remain behind us. Shadows are cast only when there is light. This means even in their presence, the potential for light remains. To keep one's face toward the sunshine is not to deny the existence of shadows, but to refuse to be led by them. The power of orientation. Perspective determines reality. The quote emphasizes a deliberate orientation. Turning your face toward the sun, it implies movement, choice, and active positioning. This aligns with principles in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which assert that our thoughts, how we choose to interpret events, shape our emotions and behaviors. When we look for the light, we reframe our circumstances in a way that uplifts and empowers. Example: two people may lose a job. One sees it as a failure, the other as a chance to start over. The event is the same, but the orientation is different. Choosing light in times of darkness. When optimism feels impossible. It is easy to talk about sunshine when life is going well, but what about grief, depression, or crisis? Whitman does not say the sun will come to you. He urges you to face it. This implies strength and discipline in moments of despair. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that even in the darkest suffering, a person can choose their inner attitude. Facing the sun is often about finding even the smallest spark of meaning when all else is lost. Resilience and the human spirit. From setbacks to strength. Resilience is the ability to recover from difficulty. It does not mean avoiding pain, but being transformed by it. In Whitman's metaphor, resilience is the act of turning one's face again and again toward the light, even if shadows keep falling. Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison and emerged without bitterness, once said, "I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying." He embodied the spirit of Whitman's advice. His light was freedom and reconciliation. The neuroscience of positivity. How focus affects the brain. Our brains are wired with what psychologists call a negativity bias. We are more likely to remember criticism than praise and focus on threats over opportunities. This helped our ancestors survive, but it hinders modern well-being. Whitman's advice counters this instinct. Focusing on sunshine rewires the brain over time. Research shows that practicing gratitude, mindfulness, and positive visualization actually changes neural pathways, making optimism a learned habit rather than a fixed trait. The role of purpose. Having a personal sun. Everyone's sunshine looks different. For some, it may be family, creativity, service, faith, or adventure. The crucial part is to define what energizes you, and then orient your actions toward that. Living with purpose doesn't erase hardship, but infuses life with meaning. A sense of purpose acts like a compass. When shadows appear, it helps you stay on course. Leading others toward the light. Sunshine as a social practice. People who live according to Whitman's quote don't just uplift themselves, they often inspire others. Leaders, teachers, artists, and activists who embody hope influence their communities. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of a dream while surrounded by injustice. His ability to keep his face toward the light mobilized millions. Light is contagious when it is sincere. Shadow work and self-awareness. Not escaping the darkness. There is a difference between toxic positivity and Whitman's wisdom. Denying hardship, repressing emotion, or pretending everything is fine is not facing the sun. It's wearing blinders. Healthy positivity coexists with shadow work. The psychologist Carl Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." To face the sun is not to ignore the dark, but to decide what will guide you. Daily practices to face the sunshine. Gratitude journaling. List 3 things you're thankful for daily. Mindful morning routine. Begin the day with an intention toward hope or kindness. Positive media diet. Limit news and content that brings anxiety. Feed your mind with inspiration. Acts of service. Doing good for others keeps your face outward and lifts shadows from others too. Reframing challenges. Ask, what can this teach me, instead of why me? Nature as a guide. Whitman was a naturalist. He believed nature mirrored spiritual truths. Trees bend in storms but do not break. The sun rises after even the longest night. Seasons change. Everything cycles. Looking to nature teaches us that shadow and light are partners, not enemies. But orientation matters. Just as sunflowers follow the sun, so can we. Education and children. Teaching children this mindset gives them lifelong tools. Encourage curiosity, celebrate effort over outcome. Help them name feelings and return to light after disappointment. Expose them to stories of courage and kindness. The earlier they learn to face the sunshine, the less power shadows will have. Facing the future with hope. In a world beset by climate anxiety, political unrest, and digital overload, Whitman's words are revolutionary. Cynicism is easy, optimism is daring. Hope is not naivety, it is a strategy. As Václav Havel wrote, hope is not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something is worth doing, no matter how it turns out. Living the light. Keep your face always toward the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. This is not a shallow mantra, it is a deep spiritual philosophy. It is about focus, choice, resilience, meaning, and action. It reminds us that our attention shapes our world, and our perspective creates our path. Whitman, in his poetic and transcendental brilliance, offers us not an escape from life's shadows, but a way to transcend them. To live with our face toward the sun is to walk with open hearts, with courage, with purpose, and with the faith that no matter how long the night, dawn will come.